would like me to spend a few minutes to talk about my background and so forth. You want me to go into that? A lot of people know who I am and I want to waste some time.
No, we know all about you.
Okay. All right, let's get into where we're at with this. First of all, Congressional District 4 is a new district. It's a district that was created after the last census, and it encompasses all of North Las Vegas to the end of the state and the middle part of the state. When they drew this district up, they drew this up feeling that this would be a safe seat for Senator Horsford. This is in his state Senate district. It has a higher proportion of African Americans in the district, and the district is about 10% more Democrats now. It goes between 9 and 10% more. Before I got in this race, I wanted to make sure this was a viable race I could win. I looked at it, and you look at some of the numbers are misleading. President Bush won this district in 2004 for president, obviously. Governor Gibbons lost this district by 1/10 of 1% in 2006, and Sandoval won this district by 8%. So that being said, a good, strong candidate on the Republican ticket can win this district. I felt this district was fitted me very, very well. First of all, a lot of the urban part of this district in Clark County is old Las Vegas, people that have known my family and myself. And then it also encompasses the middle part of the state, which my family and I have spent a lot of time here since 2006, whether it was campaigning or even going back and off years, enjoying the different family activities that you have. We're taking our kids to a number of parades, fairs, and so forth. We've established a good, strong base of people there. And in fact, in the primary, it was rural Nevada that won the race for me. I won rural Nevada by 70% of the vote. So with this race going to the general election, we all understand Horsford is going to win Clark County. The question is by how much will he win that by? If I can keep the race close enough and then do real well in rural Nevada, and I include here in Overton as part of rural Nevada, even though they count this as Clark County when they talk about the districts. If I can do real strong in rural Nevada and hold on to Clark County, we win this race. And I'm working very hard out there, and I'm counting on the support of people like yourselves to not only get out and vote for me, but get enough people registered and other people out there to vote, talk into the soft Democrats, the independents that understand what's really important in our country right now, and getting them out to vote and making a difference so we can overcome the voter registration that's out there in urban Nevada. There is a clear difference between myself and Stephen Horsford. I don't think this race will be determined upon minute differences between the candidates. Stephen Horsford was President Obama's 2008 chairman of his presidential campaign here in the state of Nevada. He's been a delegate for the National Party, an ardent supporter of a national delegate for the Democrat Party, an ardent supporter of every single bill that's been voted on and passed on President Obama's campaign or his administration. He's going to be a rubber stamp for what Obama's done, and if you like where Obama has taken the country, then you should vote for him, or anybody who feels that way should vote for him. I believe the vast majority of Americans do not believe that. Even some that may vote for Obama don't believe in the policies that he's espousing and wants to take our country, and I would assume most of you don't either. I believe that our government, the federal government, was created for a few limited purposes, and as a representative of the federal government, we should do everything we can to do those purposes as best as we can and get out of the business of everything else. My father used to say when he was a basketball coach that he wanted his team to do one or two things that are going great, and he'd love to play against a team that did 5 or 6 things because he couldn't do any of them very well. In my opinion, that's what's happened to our federal government. We have a constitution that delineates what responsibilities it's supposed to do, and instead of doing those things great, we're trying to solve all the social ills, and the latest example has been the health care bill that was passed. You know, health care, education, and welfare should be left up to the states. Those are the states' responsibility, not the federal government. And that's one reason why we're in the mess we're in. So I believe in a limited, smaller government. I believe in a lower tax base of what we're facing right now, and I believe in less government spending, and I believe in protecting our personal freedoms and liberties that were guaranteed to us through the Constitution. Horsford will take the position of virtually every opposite of every one of those. So there's a clear distinction. The question is going to be who can get the voters out to the polls enough to win in a district that was drawn up for a Democrat. Now, I believe this district is ground zero in the whole country. We are facing a crisis in our country in which way we're going to go. Obama's socialistic policies or Governor Romney's free market principles. And here in District 4, if we can win this congressional seat, I believe we're going to hold Congress, If we win this congressional seat, I guarantee you that Senator Helder's going to win Nevada, and we could very well take over the Senate. And if we win this congressional seat, we have a great chance of winning Nevada for Governor Romney, and he may win the presidency. So we have a big, big impact we can have here in this district, and I'm counting on each and every one of you to help be a part of that. That being said, I'd like to take any questions you have and answer anything more specific that you may have.
Can you give us a little of your history? A few of us are still new to
Sure.
the area.
I moved to Nevada when I was very young. I was 11. I went to high school in Las Vegas, Gorman High School, went to UNLV. Actually, I went to school in Dixie for my first year. I went to Dixie College, Dixie Junior College at the time. Went back to Las Vegas, graduated from UNLV. I played on my father's first #1 ranked team in UNLV's history, which is a very proud accomplishment on my part. Graduated from UNLV as a school's first Rhodes Scholar candidate, 2-time academic All-American. Went to law school, University of San Diego School of Law, graduated 3rd in my class, magna cum laude. Came back to Las Vegas. I practiced law for 7 years. When my father got the head coaching position at Fresno State, it was his last job he was going to have there. And since I had played for him there, I decided to go and finish out his coaching career there. So I coached with him as his assistant until 2002. Met my wife Amy there. We've been married 10 years. My youngest son Jared is here. You want to wave, Jared? Can you say hi? Jared's 2.5. I have a 9-year-old daughter named Lois and twin daughters, Ava and Ashley. When I came back to Las Vegas, I started a nonprofit Tarkanian Basketball Academy, which is built into a sports facility now, where we work with young kids and teach them not just the fundamentals you learn playing sports, but what I believe the life skills that you should learn playing sports that I believe is carried over to everything I've done professionally and has helped me be successful, being able to compete, handle adversity, deal with teammates, take direction from the coaches, a litany of things that we try to teach young kids. I also started a real estate company that we developed a real estate commercial center that we're still trying to lease up in a very difficult times in Las Vegas, but we're one of the few that are still around and so far hanging on by our nails. I ran in 2004 for the state senate. Lost to, in that race in a district that was 18.5% more Democrats. We lost by 7%. In that race, my opponent, when the race was tightened up and looked like I might beat him, came out and said some things that were not politically spin, but actual complete falsehood, saying I was involved in certain things. I was the first political person ever to go to court and win a defamation lawsuit and set the record straight. I lost the 2006 Secretary of State's race to Governor Miller's son in a close race, ran in the 2010 U.S. Senate race against Sharon Angle and Sue Loudon in the primary, and lost to Sue Loudon in that race. So now I'm here. I could have quit. The easy thing to do after that, difficult and heartbreaking loss in the Senate race, was to step aside and walk away. But my father has taught me that if you want to continue to do something you really care about, you don't quit, but you also don't just jump into something. You learn of your mistakes and become better at it and become a tougher candidate. I've tried to do that. If anybody watched my previous races, they will see that I'm a better speaker in public. I've done better in commercials. I've tried to work on my debating skills. I've done better on that. I didn't just jump into this race haphazardly. I've worked very hard to get to where I'm at right now. I believe that's one reason why I won the primary in a very tough race. Yes.
How do you feel about securing the borders, and what are we going to do about the illegal alien problem in Nevada?
In Nevada and the country, well, first of all, I've been attacked by Stephen Horsford for being too far going against immigration. I've never wavered on it at all. We need to secure borders for national security purposes, also for immigration purposes. We have a country with rule of laws, and we have laws of how people can come in the country legally, and they should be enforced. When people come in the country illegally, they're not entitled to taxpayer benefits. I don't believe they should be provided. Employers are not entitled to hire people that are here illegally. We should go after employers that do so. And at the same time, we need to revise the INS laws that are out there right now and make it easier and quicker for people that want to come in the country legally to file the right paperwork, go through the procedure, and come into our country when jobs are needed for them to work at. There's a 4-step process, and I think the 4th one is just as important as the other 3.
Excuse me, just one more. Will you work to enforce E-Verify in the state of Nevada?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we talked about, going after the employers who are hiring people legal, and that's e-verification. And yes, I believe we need to enforce that and make it even more efficient so that there are less mistakes and we can hold the employer more accountable.
I'd like to ask you what you know about von Mises and Austrian economics, and then specifically, what's your position on the energy problem we have in this country?
Okay. First one, I didn't hear the first word, and I heard Austrian economics.
Von Mises.
Okay, I'm not,
Now, he's the father of Austrian economics, so what do you know about Austrian economics?
well, I'm not sure if that's the free market part, or that's the one that Obama's following. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You
Okay.
need to read about the Austrian economics because it's the only system that supports capitalistic societies.
So
and
it's the
makes
free
it
market,
work.
it's the free market principles that we have worked on and have had the greatest economic success in the history of mankind. And it's the one that I talk about, I espouse, and it's the ones that obviously my opponent is not in favor of. I'll learn the terminology a little better. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Now, how about
Sorry,
how about
the,
the power, energy?
Yeah. One of the big things that we can do, and I don't see how anybody can be against it, is to become energy independent here in our country with the resources that we have available to us. I believe that every state should have the opportunity to explore, produce, and sell whatever energy products they have if the state wants to do so. I don't think we should force upon state things that they don't want to have. So, for example, North Dakota, which is one of the most prosperous states in the country right now with the lowest unemployment, is taking advantage of the shale oil and gas reserves that are found in this state. We should encourage those type of things. If Alaska wants to drill in Angola, we should encourage those type of things. There are enough gas reserves in the United States to supply us with 200 years of energy, including energy to motorized vehicles. There are things that use it with methanol and other type of products that they can use with gas that can take away their reliance upon oil if we wanted to go away from there. Although there still is an abundance of oil here in the country, we should refine it. At the same time that we're using these energies that we can become energy independent on here in our country at a low cost, we need to continue to do research and development on the green energies. But we don't want to put the cart before the horse, which is what Obama's done. We're trying to force green energy down our throats now when it's 4 to 8 times more expensive in an economy that can't afford it, that needs jobs, when instead we should be working on trying to get those type of products better produced at a lower cost, which we are able to do through our innovations that we've had here in our country. So I'm all in favor of utilizing all of the resources of the energy that we have available now, which is gas, oil, geothermal, nuclear, and keeping the costs down, becoming energy independent. It would create billions of jobs here in the country, billions of dollars in tax revenue, and keep the revenues that we're sending over to the Middle East here in the United States, which will help our national security, and at the same time work on the research and development of the green energies. I'm sorry, you're going to follow with something.
That's good.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll get you next, I'm sorry.
Is part of the issue the amount of land the federal government owns in our state and other states also?
The biggest problems that we have right now are the regulations, the way they're being passed and interpreted by the EPA, the Endangered Species Act, and those type of things.
For government land or private?
Well, the private land, you have to still go through the EPA process, but you're able to do it a little quicker than you do on government land. But still, when they won't allow you to build pipes to transport the gas, they're cutting off one of the main sources of energy that we can have. And because of environmental issues, they are cutting off more and more areas that we can do that along with the areas of exploration. You know, we've always been a country that swings on pendulums. You know, one time we were very protective of employers and not protective at all against the environment. We swung, instead of coming to a nice equilibrium where you protect the employees and the environment at the same time, you take in consideration the importance of what that product is that you're trying to utilize. We've swung the whole other way now. We're taking care of the environment and to some degree employees to such an extent it's strangleholding our businesses from being able to compete, expand, and be competitive in this international environment right now. We have to get back to a more balanced equilibrium.